Where did everything in between go?
What is that called in Russia, Baggins?
Okay, this isn't from me. This is something a friend of mine who spent a lot of time in Russia said. The phrase he used was "bobbing out," as in "baba," because it's grandmother.
So yeah, they literally have a term for it. Yes, we can. How's it going? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I'm also listening to the stream because I was very low on the last stream.
Gotcha.
Yes, I can hear. Oh.
Did you just respond to the stream?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, all I know is, I heard the echo, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta mute the stream. But yeah, the bobbing out, when I realized that happened, I realized, oh, it's because a lot of people smoke in that country, so it just, boom, aging happens really fast as soon as they start smoking.
I don't know if it's that, but
I do need to be a little bit louder, Splice.
Okay. All right.
no,
there you go.
So, Splice, question.
Black bear.
Not really.
Okay. What's the question?
The question is, sorry, I was also hearing to make sure that was loud enough. Perfect. So, I have gotten a hold of some easy one-handed kitchen slicing devices, and I'm trying to rebrand them as Splice Chop.
Okay, is that
Very
just
nice.
knives? Are those just knives?
No. Like it's I can't legally say the other name, but it's the thing that sounds like Splice Chop, but it's not that legally.
as seen on TV.
Yeah, as seen on TV by that
Slap
one
chop?
guy who was.
Well, is it the one that you hit repeatedly?
Yeah,
Or
that's
one-
the
Why
one.
can't you say
Okay.
slap chop?
Because I'm trying to get a similar, but for legal purposes, completely distinct product out on the market, and I don't want it all, I don't want to make the comparison just yet.
Well, don't you want people to cook using their patented splice chop?
I do, but like if I have Splice saying, why don't you just call it Slap Chop, then,
I couldn't figure out what we were talking about.
He has to pretend that he doesn't know what the other one exists.
Exactly. It's like, what? No, this is made from, this is
Why
made
do
from
you suddenly have a
sprayed
bunch of
metals
these
in
things?
Romanian.
Well, okay,
Look.
to be fair, I have one of those, and it's not a slap chop branded one. It's, they just
I had
make 'em.
one, but I had a non-branded one, but it's gone now. I don't remember what I did with it. I think I just threw it out.
That's a shame. I mean,
No,
but it wasn't. But that was because it wasn't. It wasn't a branded splice chop made from the finest Romanian space metal on Earth.
Honestly, knives are just better.
You know what? I'm trying to get a thing out here that Splice could potentially profit off of. So, a little help.
Well,
I don't believe in your potential.
a splice and dicer. We need one of those.
No, that exists. I already looked into that copyright.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I do
Believe it
like
or not,
I do like the ones that have the crisscross blades and you just smack it down through.
Right.
Those speed up cutting.
I've got
a
one of
lot.
those. The Splice Chop, weirdly enough, genetic medical equipment for splicing and chopping your genes into something better. So, yeah. Weird.
They call it the gene mixer upper.
Sounds very technical.
Well, Splice's older brother, Gene.
I am the
Gene
oldest in
Splice.
my family, and I will not.
It is very renowned. He uses the splicer dicer quite a bit.
Okay, well, it's time for us to get started. So, everyone, go quiet for a second.
Just realized older sibling is Gene Stream.
You're simply playing playing a video game in the early 90s, and the game you're playing is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. You're minding your own business, just watching turtles beat up on robotic ninjas that inexplicably explode when you kill them. And then you see it. The advertisement for Pizza Hut. Suddenly, you're hungry. The ad has done its job. This is episode 22 of I Think We Overleveled. I am Splice. I am here with Baggins, Kamizite, and Lunasar. How's it going, gang?
Not on fire.
It's going.
Feels like the Earth is on fire over here, even though I know there's much warmer places.
Where
Well-
are you again, Lunasar? Not Connecticut.
Somewhere in the Western Hemisphere.
Correct.
Okay.
Not Connecticut. That's the name of his home.
I mean,
No,
it's
there's
not
a
wrong.
city in Connecticut called Lunasar. No, I'm in the swamp. Like I walked outside right before the stream because I had to go throw something away. It was like walking through soup.
Yeah, it gets humid in the South, and
How
particularly,
appropriate.
Yeah,
particularly
how appropriate that we're talking about food and the air is basically soup outside.
indeed.
Like turtle
Your,
soup.
your new screen name should be Soup Walker.
No, that's taken also.
Tonight we dine on turtle soup.
Indeed.
Tonight we dine on turtle soup. And is there any more universal use of food in games than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Any one of them. Because in almost every turtle game, I do believe that pizza is how you regain your life.
Indeed, it is.
I mean,
Specifically Pizza Hut.
In
I mean, we
Turtles
know
2.
that pizza was their first word
Yeah.
Yep.
That we do.
from
It's
the documentary.
Which documentary? Are we talking about? We
We
talking
can't-
about the movie or the
The one in
Out of Your Shell
1990
documentary.
or 91.
See, there's two canons here that we have to deal with. There's the movie canon, and then there's the coming out of their shell canon, which was the live stage show where they became a rock band.
Yeah, we're not even going to address that. Okay. Point is, there's a lot of
I
video
feel
game
like we've
food.
lost the thread.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of
5 minutes
food.
in.
There's a lot of food in video games. Ninja Turtles pizza is the first one I can think I really thought about as a kid. Just cuz of like what you said, where you heal using pizza, which is an interesting choice. Very on theme. And I don't know, video games just make me hungry sometimes, especially when the food looks delicious. What's the
Well,
first one you could think you like thought about?
Well, the first one I thought about actually was also the Pizza Hut and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it actually has the added benefit that it's actually protected in the box still, as opposed to, Castlevania turkey that's just on the floor.
Floor turkey.
It was wasn't it on a platter, or was it just?
It was embedded in the wall. You had to break the wall, and then it falls on the floor, which sometimes, well, maybe it had a platter. That would help. But it still was, like, built into the wall.
Maybe the wall's refrigerated.
It was a load-bearing turkey.
It was a load-bearing turkey indeed.
Yeah,
And so-
that's the thing in a lot of games is that the food that you find in it is usually unprotected and just around, or at least in early like beat 'em up games.
And so I greatly appreciate that the Turtles at least it's still in the box.
Yeah, it's important to keep it in the box. But no.
That
so
it is.
I don't
That
have a
is.
lot for as far as video footage today, so I just decided at Baggins' suggestion, he really campaigned hard for this. I'm just going to show Yo Noid gameplay.
I mean, you've got to. It's all about the dominoes.
You know, that
So-
actually does bring me into a go ahead about Yo Noid, but that's another thing. There was like a little bit of time where there was like games that were sponsored by fast food. I had a copy of Sneak King.
Oh man.
I still have a copy of Sneak King.
I used to have a copy of, what was it? McDonald's McKids.
There's a couple of McDonald's.
Yeah, I also had
What was it?
what was it? Oh no, I remember enjoying Cool Spot, which was the 7-Up branded game.
Yeah, there was also the Cheetos one.
I did play that one.
I can't remember what it was called. Then let's see, I know there's one more. Yonoid, Cool Spot, Cheetos, McDonald's. God, I'm gonna have to look this up. But yeah, they were sponsoring a lot of video games.
That MC Kids one was way better than it deserved to be for being just a McDonald's game.
I used the
Wasn't
MC Kids like game victory
Wasn't there a legit
sound.
ramen brand that like was in one of the Final Fantasy games?
Oh, Cup Noodle was in FF15.
That's right. Cup Noodle.
And like as some pre-order bonus or I don't know, some bonus, there was DLC where a helmet was made out of a Cup Noodle styrofoam container. It was as dumb as it sounds.
I mean, food and game just like has been something I think has been from the beginning. Like even if we're not talking about like the games that were sponsored by Domino's or whatever. Like one of the first games that I can remember being in an arcade back in the days of Showbiz Pizza, Burger Time.
True.
I don't really understand the gameplay of Burger Time back then.
Oh, Burger Time was great.
You make the burgers.
Yeah, you have to walk over the pieces in order.
See, I haven't played it since I was 6. I just know that it had something to do with burgers and something to do with time. And that's all I remember. I spent most of my time in the Star Wars X-Wing fighter simulator anyway.
Just so you know, Jordan, just so you're aware, there were 2 actually Chester Cheetah games on the SNES.
I'm sorry, what?
There was Chester Cheetah Too Cool to Fool in 1992 and Chester Cheetah Wild Wild Quest in 1993.
What the heck? Not
Wow.
gonna find this.
That is something.
Chester Cheetah Wild Wild Quest for the SNES. It rhymes. Oh my goodness.
I mean, do you expect anything less?
Hey, that rhymed too.
I know.
This is incredible.
At this point, I'm doing it to annoy him.
Doesn't
You're
annoy
playing
me.
mental chess.
Why would that annoy me?
I don't know. But it would, because it came from me.
All I know is that this game is designed by Mark Spranger, and they really want you to know it. Oh dear. What the? Stop playing noises. There we go. Mental note.
Hanako.
Search through this game for sound effects.
No,
Man.
I remember actually enjoying Yonoid.
Okay, but let's talk about actual food in games instead of just the brands.
Yeah. So during the discussion, I just thought about River City Ransom and how. Preferably not that part. But no, you go to restaurants and buy food and eat the food to permanently increase your stats.
That's true.
And I wouldn't mind food that permanently increases my stats.
You have to eat a whole lot more of it.
What are you talking about?
I've
been eating food to increase my stats all the time. Unfortunately, the only stat it improves
weight is not a stat.
It's a stat.
I was hoping for more like strength, intelligence, and all of them. I mean, food can contribute to the development of those stats, but I wish it were just as simple as, oh wow, you ate a steak, you're stronger now. So,
Indeed.
And also to that effect, in Wild Arms, the stat upping items are apples. There's like the Hardy apple and the Strength apple, and the Intelligence apple that increases your stats, and food that would permanently make me more awesome every time I ate it would be pretty cool.
I know that in Persona 5, the Galaxy Burger helps improve your guts.
Well, that's true. The doing the burger challenge does.
I wasted way too much early time in my first gameplay going there trying to improve my guts.
Do they ask? Do they ask? Do you have it?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. I like what Kevin says in chat. Weight increases stability and stance, of course. Of course. See, he gets it.
Does he?
Yes. Just roll with
Lower
it.
center of gravity, or just a heftier center of gravity, I guess.
Hmm.
But no. Anyway, yeah, I guess Persona 5, there is a strange amount of food mattering in Persona 5 now that I think about it.
I mean, food is important in a lot of these games.
Yeah, I didn't really
Well, I mean,
think about it.
To the point where I actually have multiple video game themed cookbooks.
That is true.
You know, I've got the official World of Warcraft cookbook, the official Hearthstone cookbook, the official Final Fantasy XIV cookbook.
I'm glad you brought up the World of Warcraft one specifically, because they've always had food increasing stats, and as raids grew, they started making feasts, which were placeable objects that everyone could eat a meal to gain specific stats from. And I won't lie, I mean, I put it in the freaking thumbnail. Some of those feasts started looking real good to me.
You're not wrong.
I mean, I know they were overly polygonal, but man, some of those just made me hungry.
That's just because you're supposed to have square meals.
Dang, that's good. I wish I'd come up with that. Like, not good enough to laugh, but it was clever, and I appreciate that.
You appreciate clever.
Yeah.
Not good enough to laugh, but good enough to note.
Exactly.
I totally understand.
No, some of those well, and then in particular, because the thing I really remember, the first time I noticed food in WoW was in Wrath of the Lich King. I don't know what it's like over on Alliance side, but on the Horde side, they had their inn, and they just had this giant table of food just laid out, and it just looked savory as all get out. And I wanted it. I wanted to eat their polygonal pork.
So the polygonal pork sounds like some sort of weird tech band name.
It sounds like that sounds like a shader. Like, it's like, hey, try Baldur's Gate 4. It has polygonal pork to get to get the most out of your graphics card.
It's the new version of ray tracing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
No, it just.
What is this game?
You're
sorry,
I'm
watching the gameplay. I know.
Chester Cheetah Wild Quest for the SNES.
Yep.
You brought this upon us.
With a boss that ate too many Cheetos, it looks like.
I guess.
I mean, to be fair, it's not easy being cheesy.
Well, I mean, I think we can all agree that food is such a commonplace in games as a health item. But can anyone think of like food as a different item, not like a permanent buff, not like a health, but like food is there for another purpose?
Yes, actually, I sent in the chat some food items from the Phoenix Wright games. I think this one was I think it was the DS exclusive one from the original game, but there was a character named Angel Star who in the past was a detective, but in the present she sells bento boxes. And
is this where you get the burgers?
No, but that joke from the that joke from Awkward Zombie is what made me think of this. There's another food that is similar to it that is a closer fit to the burgers, but that was just her joke making fun of it. But this character Angel Star, I don't know if you want to throw up the picture or not, but she has tons of different bento boxes, and when you're talking to her, she often pulls out a specific bento box to make a point of what she's saying. And so like the bento box she pulls out is related to the conversation at hand. And she has a lot of them, and some of them look pretty tasty. Some of them don't look that great, but I mean, usually she pulls that out when she's mad at you, and she pulls out a gross looking one when she's mad at you, but a lot of other times she pulls out ones for certain characters that they know they like, or just kind of has to do with what the conversation was about. But I mean, bento boxes they're really pretty, even though I don't know if part of me wonders if they look better than they taste, but I don't know. It'd be nice to try out some fancy bento boxes sometime.
I mean, you say if they look better than they taste, that just depends on the cook, because bento boxes are like, it's just a conglomeration. It's just a
lunchbox.
A lunchbox, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bento box.
It's all about making the.
Go ahead, Lenny.
I think we lost him for a sec.
Oh no,
his audio went out.
Am I still here?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, the bento box is all about the presentation. So, where they arrange the food in a certain manner to
right. So, but like, I mean, you can arrange bad tasting food to look good, but you can also arrange good looking food to taste good. So it's just, and so like, it depends on the cook.
Or you can make cakes that look like things that should not be cakes.
Oh, also, those are horrifying.
Okay, the Mode 7 they're using is actually pretty impressive for a game of this quality in this boss fight.
The game itself was actually impressive.
Look at this. This is actually pretty good Mode 7 usage. Just didn't expect that from Chester Cheetah 2.
No, it was a better game than most branded games at the time.
Wait, can you just use Mode 7?
Yeah,
like not the whole screen, just one sprite is using Mode 7?
Yeah, that they did that all the time in Super Mario World 2. Think about all the times they use morphmation on like bosses and stuff. That's Mode 7 stuff.
I'm just thinking usually a game goes full on Mode 7.
Yeah,
or
you can
not
use it
at
for
all.
smaller things.
Well, anyway, back to the discussion at hand, though. You were asking about games where food is used as something other than a health recovery item.
Right.
I mean, Jordan and I both know about the best video game of all time. The most well received game of all time, Captain Novolin.
Okay, yeah, I was like, this feels like a setup for a Captain Novolin joke. No one knows this game. You're the only person who knows this game, and I only know it because I live with you.
Other people know it.
I've heard of it.
I've seen horrifying reviews of it online.
Before you say anything, do you know it only because of Baggins?
No, I saw a YouTube video making fun of it.
Oh,
and
man.
And then Baggins told me, "Oh yeah, I have it."
I do have it. It's awful. Speaking of branded games, it was a game put out in the 90s. It was on the Super NES by a company called Nova Nordisk. They're a maker of insulin. They're a drug company. They make insulin, though, among other things. And the game, huh?
I said, cool, I guess. Yeah, let's make some insulin and video games.
It's basically an advertisement for kids. And I remember I went to a diabetes summer camp. Yes, this is a thing. And they had the game there. And I was an antisocial kid who was obsessed with video games. And so I was obviously of course, this is where I was drawn. And so, it's not a good game. It really, really isn't a good game. But the main character is a superhero named Captain Novolin. And he's diabetic. And the enemies are basically these aliens who have taken the shape of bouncing jelly donuts and cookies and flying licorice sticks and all these enemies that are trying to take him out. And as you go through the game, you have to take care of his diabetes as well. Otherwise, things will go poorly.
I mean,
it's not a good game.
Like, I don't even know where to start with that. Like, what?
Yep.
Are you sure this isn't a fever dream? This feels
And like
I can,
the
if
only
it is,
we should-
I've seen it. He has the cartridge.
Why don't we
The
pull
only-
up some playing, some
yeah
footage?
the only attack that you have is you jump over the enemy and you hold down and to land on them. If you don't hold down and you land on them, you take damage, and you only have like 2 hits, I think.
SNES long play,
it's
Captain
just
Novolin.
not-
Here we go.
It's just not a good game.
Why does it keep not muting? Freaking.
I don't know. I mean,
I
I don't
don't
hear
know.
it. If that makes you feel better.
Yeah, it's only on
That's-
my end. Okay, pulling up Captain Novolin. Everyone get ready to watch this abomination.
I mean, you could not also.
Nope.
All right. Well,
We're pulling up
Good luck,
Captain
everyone.
Novolin.
Oh, the nostalgia.
I just didn't expect diabetic nostalgia to be a thing.
But yeah, Novolin is the name of a type of insulin, which is now, of course, obsolete, and they have updated versions of it. So
I mean, updated versions are good.
this
He
guy's just sort of
starts the
hovering
game
on
on
the
a freaking treadmill. I forgot about this.
I did too. Well, because you got to take care of your health.
Yes, of course.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, look at him. He's ripped.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so I want to talk about the cake from the Cake is Alive meme. Do
Of
you
course.
think that cake looks good or not? Because I think it looks disgusting.
Well, I mean, you've seen the recipe, so you know it's disgusting. It has like bolts and stuff in it, doesn't it?
I don't remember seeing a recipe.
I think there's a recipe during the credits somewhere. Either that or like she says it when she's like going goofy.
I'm gonna go find this. Oh, here we go. Recipe.
Oh my
Anyway,
goodness!
the
I didn't
cake is
realize
gross.
it tells you how to
How to check your blood sugar? Oh yes, it absolutely does. And there is nothing useful about these sections.
Oh my goodness!
What is this doctor?
He's
That is-
he's
I just mean
He's
like
an
the look of him.
endocrinologist.
I bet endocrinologists don't look like that. It just doesn't look correct. Like they did something wrong with his face. Yep, there's the jelly donut. Ah, but
and
you
as
pick up
as
the
you walk
banana.
through, you also have to pick up the healthy food, but not too much of it, or your blood sugar will get high.
So, do you actually fight anything, or are you just picking up and avoiding food?
You can attack them, but it's
What
like an
is this
awkward
jumping
sort of attack.
animation?
Just because you can't jump that high.
It's not the jumping that high. It's this weird thing he does with his arms, and then he like compacts as he goes down.
Was that the whole level, or was that like a time thing?
That was the first level,
But like, look, what is that jump animation? He like
or that was the halfway point. That was the check mark. But he picked up too much food, so his blood sugar was high. If you notice,
So wait, and it quizzes what happens if you get it wrong.
of course,
what happens if
I'm
you get
so
it wrong
confused.
I honestly don't recall. It's been so long since I played this. That was level 1.
though? See, but look, this doctor, there's something not right with his face. Like he's got these beady eyes. Dr. Sketchy, back to you.
I mean, isn't that all doctors though?
No?
You sure?
Yeah.
Best game ever. So
I don't know. Anyways, back to your question about the portal cake.
Yeah. I found the ingredients, by the way.
I mean, I found people that make the cake, you know, and it's probably not the ingredients from Portal, but just to make
So
a
here-
cake
here-
that looks like that.
Here are the
I mean,
official
it looks okay. It looks chocolatey.
Here are the official ingredients. 1 package of chocolate cake mix, 1 can prepared of coconut pecan frosting, 3/4 cup of vegetable oil, 4 large eggs, 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, 3/4 cup of margarine, 1 2/3 cup of granulated sugar, and 2 cups of all-purpose flour. But don't forget garnishes such as fish-shaped crackers, fish-shaped candles, fish-shaped solid waste, fish-shaped dirt, fish-shaped ethyl benzene, pull and peel licorice, fish-shaped volatile organic compounds, and sediment-shaped sediment. What is sediment-shaped sediment?
You're just saying, are you
What?
having a stroke right now?
I'm reading off the list from the intelligence core that you drop. Or she drops.
Baggins, make sure he's not having a stroke.
I'm not having a stroke.
That's exactly what somebody having a stroke would say.
No, that's not what someone having a stroke would say. They have trouble talking because they're having a stroke.
So you see why we're in agreement you're having a stroke.
No, I don't. I am not having a stroke. I am reading lore from Portal. An entry called How to Kill Someone with Your Bare Hands, apparently. 2 cups of rhubarb, sliced. Are
you having a stroke?
Go back to your room. Quit breaking the meta.
I will take that. Just when he gets back, we just got to make sure. You should be happy. You've got friends who will check and make sure that you're not just basically just
No,
twitching on
what
the
I have
floor.
are friends that give into your peer pressure, and that's concerning to me.
I'm not peer pressuring anything.
Oh my
If anything, canonically, Baggins is the only person on the stream that can tell me what to do.
I asked if he was having a stroke and he yelled at me.
So he's having a stroke. Okay. Well, as long as we know.
Meanwhile, Captain Novelin is driving his speedboat.
Indeed.
We have just taken a left turn with this whole podcast.
The point is, I don't think the cake looks very good.
I
So-
will agree with you there.
I will disagree because I actually had friends for my birthday make a cake that was modeled after this, and it was quite delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen, and I saw a fan made one where it's cut and it's like 4 layers of chocolate cake with chocolate frosting in between. It looked pretty good.
Oh, interesting. As I'm going through the wiki, ingredients omitted by the cake core that are part of the recipe, according to Valve, include 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2/3 cup of cocoa powder, and it's just they list the rest of it. So they actually do have a full recipe canonically for this thing.
Yeah,
I didn't
That
realize
and-
there was a canonical recipe.
And the maraschino cherries on top, I don't know. I like the smell of maraschino cherries. They smell good.
yeah. To be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of like Black Forest cake. So
Yeah. But I don't know.
Fair
It
enough.
was just it's one of the most iconic pieces of food in all of gaming.
But
But it's a lie.
Yeah. But it's not because we see it at the end.
so moving along to another piece of food, when food is a main mechanic of the game. Like, for example, A Boy and His Blob, where all of the mechanics come down to the
Jelly
jelly beans
beans.
that you feed
Yeah.
your blob.
Yeah, good call.
bless
I
you
don't
for
remember-
referencing that game. So it's been forgotten by too many.
I don't remember liking the game that much, but it was a cool mechanic, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
remember.
loved it.
I remember. I think I tried the Wii remake, or maybe I just considered buying the Wii remake. I can't remember. but
The
I didn't
Wii
get
make,
it.
if you will.
Yeah, yes, the Wii make.
You're fired.
No, I won't.
I'm not apologizing.
But just I mean, like that. While you can argue about like the game play of it, like the idea that your entire gameplay goes down to basically puzzles that involves, all right, I have this many of this jelly bean, this many of this jelly bean, this many of these jelly beans.
Man, I didn't
And I have to
realize
figure out-
this game completely rips off the Indiana Jones title screen.
I mean, they all did back in the day. But regardless of the fact, I mean, it is absolutely, completely, and totally a game that the entire mechanic is food. Sweet food. Like, I'm enjoying some Skittles gummies, which are kind of like jelly beans if you want a jelly bean that isn't a jelly bean. But changing shape, solving your puzzles, because each flavor coalesces to a form for the blob, and you have to just continue on that way. Are there other games you guys can think of that kind of used food in that sort of way?
Well, I think of Breath of the Wild and how until you got different armor to equip to handle the different elements, you had to eat food to survive in the cold or the hotter locations.
And I'm glad you brought up Breath of the Wild for another.
Their meat
point in this-
skewers look delicious, by the way. Just
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
their meat-
but
as,
because-
as someone who did not like the food mechanic of Breath of the Wild, I will say I appreciate how each different kind of food had a different sprite for it, and some of them did look absolutely delicious.
I mean,
yeah.
it's a different angle, but Kirby uses the similar mechanic where based on what you feed him, he turns into different things.
I mean, you're not wrong. I just didn't really think of it in terms of feeding him. I viewed it more in terms of murder.
Yeah, I typically don't want to, eat a waddled, waddle dee hole.
Kirby's biology is frankly horrifying.
That
I'm right.
That said, I wouldn't mind eating a Maxim tomato. I like tomatoes.
You could also, in a similar vein, talk about Yoshi eating. Like a blue shell will make him fly, a red shell will make him spit fire, etc.
True.
True. Yeah.
I never made the connection that the blue shell makes him fly, and then that's what the blue shells do in Mario Kart. Huh.
Well, those are spiny shells, which is a little different too.
But still, they're always blue. Just, I don't know, just made the connection out of nowhere. Point is, it is true. But Yoshi's also horrifying in a different way. Just the things that he can eat are multitudinous and concerning, frankly. I mean, the way he eats the pokies, like those are cactuses, and he just swallows those things like they're nothing.
And the dolphins.
Wait, can he eat the dolphins?
In the original Japanese, he can.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't realize language determined.
What you can and can't eat.
Yeah, they that was.
I know
that was
it.
removed from the U.S. version.
So
Like
the Japanese version of Super Mario World isn't dolphin safe.
Correct.
Yeah, like I remember Ice Climber's different depending upon your region.
Because you can,
Yeah, you club seals in the Japanese
you can
version.
club baby seals, because I guess in Japan no one bought Crazy Ernie's cars.
I remember
Please-
that's a reference. I don't remember
Please
what that's a reference
Get that
to.
reference. Please tell me someone gets that reference.
I'm drawing a blank.
I know
You
it's a
bought
reference.
Fire, I'm gonna club this baby seal. It's I'll give you a hint. It's Weird Al.
And the show is
wow.
officially demonetized.
It's
Yep.
it's from UHF.
Oh, that's right.
It's
God,
gonna-
it's been forever since I've seen
UHF.
UHF.
It's gonna be great when he's going and there's like, Your Honor, he threatened to club the baby seals. We have it on tape. It's like, I'm being taken out of context. It's not my fault.
It's a classic movie. Come on.
No. One of the other things about the reason I didn't like the food thing for Breath of the Wild is, I don't know, it to me it sort of broke the flow of combat, because it's like you're low on health and it's like, okay, now I'm just gonna pause, time out, we're gonna eat. And I don't know, there's before it's like, okay, I'm gonna run away until I can get health. Now, I mean, you could argue the potions are
feels like-
basically the same, but
That feels like a very natural reaction. Uh-oh, I better run away until I can get health.
yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know. It broke the flow of combat for me to be constantly managing and cooking food. But look, the game was Game of the Year material, so I'm obviously in the minority here.
Obviously, but I mean,
Well, I mean, if I'm perfectly honest, once I had the armor to handle those situations, I only used food to heal and that's it. And I usually just would only eat hearty radishes that would insta heal me from, all the way plus some.
Yep.
You would
bonus
feed him
instant-
radishes? Do you hate Link?
Cooked. It was technically like sautéed vegetables or something.
Yeah, but
They're
well,
still
the thing is,
radishes. They're a terrible
greens.
vegetable.
it would heal him. It would overheal him, like a medic from TF2 healed him up.
Well, see, now we just know the game's lying. Everyone knows radishes make you lose your will to live.
Well, they chose radishes because they're hearty radishes. They look like they're heart-shaped, and Link's health is hearts.
What radishes are
'Cause-
you eating, bud?
'Cause
Oh wait, I
that's how
forgot you don't
food
eat
works.
vegetables. No,
Hylian
no
ones.
radishes.
My goodness.
But no, I don't know. It just didn't. But I will say again, the sprite work on it was really good. Like, I don't know how to make a crab risotto. I just know I want one.
Oh, crab risotto is good.
Okay,
I wouldn't know. Crabs will kill
this
me.
is a safe place, right?
Sure. Why not?
if you want to believe that.
If
What
you want
a-
to call the internet a safe place ever, fine. Okay, whatever.
What? I don't
Yeah,
really
sure,
know
it's
what
safe.
I don't know what a risotto is.
Risotto is a rice dish that you cook it. You have a certain kind of rice, arboro rice typically, and you slow cook it in a saute pan, gradually adding broth to let it absorb more and more and more of it to get a lot of flavor out of it. It releases starches and it thickens up the dish, so it's just really good. I've made risotto before.
Yeah, but I've had risotto before. I just don't really know what it is more the
Got
point. But I don't know. I want some. Anyway,
It's delicious.
no, but that's part of this whole thing.
It is very delicious.
Okay. What about the cakes in Minecraft?
They're very square.
They're very okay.
Like
It always
Minecraft. So
bugged me that because it was cool that you could take multiple bites out of it, so you could sort of use it as a shared food source if you wanted. But it bugged me that there's 7 slices in a game that is like everything is like to the powers of 2. Why is it not 8 slices? That kind of bugs me. The other thing that bugs me is the slices are completely horizontal. They're not cutting from the middle. And I don't like it.
I think I can actually answer your question about why it's 7 slices in a game that would focus on power of 2. Because it's trying to detect when it's 0. So it goes from 0 to 7.
Yeah, but it still looks stupid. It needs to be 8.
Sure.
This isn't 1987. We could spare the extra bit.
can we?
Yes,
Are you sure?
100%.
All right. I mean,
Well,
like
considering it's
maybe you
programmed
can.
in Java, I can guarantee you it is using the extra bit.
Yeah, so see, we needed 8 slices. This is just one of my minor pet peeves. What type of cake do you think it's supposed to be?
A lie.
So like
No,
Carrot
no,
cake.
No, this isn't
Yeah, it looks like a strawberry cake to me.
I can see that.
You sure it's not monster cake?
I just said what it looks like.
Monster cake. Isn't that Breath of the Wild?
That is Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Well done.
Just gonna keep bringing it back to Breath of the Wild.
I do like the steaks in Minecraft though.
I love that you can, if you burn the pigs with fire, you get the steak automatically.
Cooked steak.
Just, it's kind of morbid, frankly.
Or pork chops, rather.
Yeah, pork chops, and then the steaks were the cows. That's right.
Yep.
Yep.
Just instantly.
You probably had plenty of the pork chops with your sheep cult that you.
Well, no, they don't.
built.
They didn't drop chops at all.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They didn't.
And it
have those
annoyed
back
me.
Yeah.
I wanted mutton.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Agreed.
Mutton's delicious. Mutton is. Oh, I love mutton. No, that did annoy me. With the amount of sheep I killed for the purposes of getting wool for the Rainbow Road.
Your sheep eugenics program.
Look, there was nothing wrong
And
with it.
demonetized.
It's not
Ooh.
eugenics, it's breeding when you do it to farm animals.
I'm just hearing a bunch of excuses here.
No, so for those who don't know, back before you could
Shear the sheep.
you could shear the sheep, you could shear the sheep, but back before you could corral the sheep, like, because they didn't have permanence in the game, so they just appeared randomly. Whenever I would shear a sheep and it would only give one wool, I'd always murder it on principle because I didn't want it to breed. I only want the high yield sheep to breed. Does it actually affect the game? No, but it was a funny joke. And that's really what we're here for.
Is it?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay then.
But no. Okay, so there's something that I just wanted to bring up, a little more of a meta thing about food and games.
All right.
There's something interesting about food and games. The fact that we see it, and even though it's pixelated, it can still make us hungry. And there's a weird trick to the human mind that this is obviously more than just food and games, but just the fact that we can see food and then imagine how it
seafood.
Yeah, indeed. But you imagine how it tastes and think and have that cause a result. It's a trick of the mind that we end up playing of ourselves. It's sort of like you have an internal conversation with yourself, and you can hear your internal voice, even though no sound is being made. And in games, you can sort of taste the food without tasting it. And I don't know, there's a weird component to that. Because games have definitely made me hungry. The amount of time I was hungry playing Persona 5 is through the roof. Because we're always eating like these awesome ramen bowls and obviously the Galaxy burgers, and just always wanted food after playing Persona 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
what is that weird meta thing that humans can do where we can imagine it?
It's called imagining.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I think
it makes me hungry.
It's still your imagination.
I mean, you talk about that. How have we not even talked about Cooking Mama yet? That game made me hungry.
Actually, now that you mentioned Persona 5, it does make me think. In Persona 4, instead of the giant burger, it was a place where you went to get a bowl, like those rice bowl type of restaurants. And what it was is it was a meat bowl. And in Persona 4, while the main character is eating, it's like they hand you the bowl and it looks like you have entered into the meat dimension because there's just so much meat in it. I'm like, ooh, that sounds good.
I want to go to the meat dimension. That sounds great.
The meat dimension is pretty awesome. I've been there twice.
All right.
Someone tried to tell me that the dimension's name was Tucanos, but I'm not sure I believe them.
Okay, Cooking Mama. I've never actually played it or seen anyone play
dude,
it.
I loved that game.
What type of game is it actually?
It's just a bunch of mini games. Like there'll be one where you're trying to keep the heat level in the pan even and add the food at the right time. There'll be one where you're like mixing dough. There'll be one where you're slicing
WarioWare?
it.
Yeah, it's WarioWare, except instead of feeling nauseous at the end, you feel hungry.
Or disowned.
Or disowned.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, and anytime you mess up, Cooking Mama, the response is, "You're not mine."
Well, no, she'd say, "Mama will fix it."
But no, like when you make an error, she says, "You're not mine. You're not mine."
That sounds healthy. This sounds like a great game to bolster your mental health.
It is. Good point. I didn't realize it was a WarioWare style game. I'd always
It's not quite WarioWare style because it's single player.
so maybe
But-
but WarioWare has the single player mode. So maybe more like
it's a WarioWare game.
And the mini games last a little bit longer. It's not quite micro. It's not as long as a full mini game, but
so
it's
maybe
like
more like Trauma Center.
yeah.
No,
there was a lot of comparison to Trauma Center when it came out.
I don't see it personally.
I do.
As someone who's actually beaten Trauma Center, I'd say it's closer to WarioWare, but that's just me.
Well, what about the level where Cooking Mommy uses her skills to defuse a bomb?
Huh? What?
I don't think that happens.
Oh, okay. Just Trauma Center. Got it.
Just Trauma Center. And look how fast these individual pieces are.
Some of them are. Some of them are longer.
But if you think about it, most of the surgeries are actually just a collection of just little mini games because you have to cut this, do this, and it's just that they don't have a dividing line between it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. But
I will sell you
know.
on this by the time this is done.
I do feel like I'm the only one who's actually really played much of the Trauma Center.
What is I beat?
stuff.
I played them.
I beat Second Opinion. What are you talking about?
You beat Second Opinion? Okay.
Darn straight. I was very confused on the last level, and I had to eventually look it up, and I didn't realize you could use his weird time freeze power twice. Because
Well,
they hadn't forced you to do that all game.
Well, that's the only time you can do that in the entire game.
So it made no sense to me that you would be able to do it twice. That stuck out. And the bomb mission. And my friend who was watching me play named Mark, who said as early in the game when the first nurse, the older one, who's like, I'm retiring, and he just said, it's like, it's time, we need to get another nurse in here. One that's a lot more beautiful and a lot more single.
He wasn't wrong.
And no, and I'm like, that's exactly what's going to happen. I didn't think about that. But then sure enough, it's like, yep, he read the script. To be fair, they weren't trying to hide that they were a daytime, drama show, essentially, masquerading as a video game.
Like, we talking General Hospital, we talking ER?
Well, I mean, it was made by the
Yes.
people who make Persona, so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
But no,
So-
sorry, that was a weird tangent.
It was a weird tangent. So getting back, so bringing up Legend of Zelda, and then also, part of that, especially with Breath of the Wild, is that you have to. It's not just like you can just go and get food. Most of the time, you have to go and you have to make food. There's like a recipe mechanic, and that seems to be something that I find prevalent in games, especially in gacha games. I probably am the only one here that plays Genshin Impact, and one of the things is that they have recipes that you can collect throughout the regions for doing certain things, for going to certain vendors, certain events you get certain things, certain quests you get certain recipes, and those recipes will give you food and that you can make that'll give you better stamina, will heal you, will bring you back from unconsciousness, etc. Can you guys think of any other games that have like a cooking mechanic, or have a cooking mechanic that you like, as opposed to Splice, who disliked the cooking mechanic in Breath of the Wild, and everything about Breath of the Wild, and everything about breaths, and everything about wilds? And the
I feel
and the
like
color
we
green.
overstated it
So
at the end there.
I actually remember this wasn't me, it was I'm trying to think, it was someone who used to play in our Minecraft server. I want to say One Boot, and I mentioned the Paper Mario series and Thousand Year Door, the original one, and in those games one has a chef named Zesty, and another one Zesty, and what's the other one's name? Tasty. But you could give him items and mushrooms and he'd cook it up for you, which would make it like more effective, or if it was a bad recipe, it would just make like dried mushrooms. But that game had a cooking mechanic, and I remember she said that she loved just taking every random food item she could to see what he'd whip up, and she really enjoyed that.
I remember in the first one, in between levels, you would have like the Princess Peach cooking mini game with the fat shy guy. And I remember I couldn't ever really figure out how it was supposed to work. I was terrible at it. I don't know.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a long time ago. I don't remember the specifics, but there's an interesting, you're talking about like enjoying it and stuff. There's an interesting weird meta thing about that in World of Warcraft specifically, because early on they had a lot of rarer recipes that required you to get more out there ingredients. But something interesting happened, and this is what's interesting about a living game and an MMO audience, is it started sort of becoming required for the higher end guilds for you to have the food so that you could have the buff for each pull, because they're trying to beat each other to world first. And it started adding up because it became required to people's required playtime. And as time has gone on, they've simplified the recipes for these things and made it so that it's not, you don't have to get such esoteric ingredients and stuff. And you can now you can put out the feasts and stuff instead of needing to have it yourself. So all you need is one player who's willing to put in the work. And it's interesting how something that was meant to be immersive due to emergent gameplay became a requirement. I don't know. I find that a weird problem to have to solve. And so
there's lots of weird problems, but I do get what you're saying there.
Yeah. Well, and especially because the biggest issue is it's meant to be something that's because cooking is one of the few professions that everyone can do. You don't have to pick a specialization. And so it was supposed to be just this, fun little thing that you can do on the side if you want. But that changed over time. And so they had to find ways to make it so that it stayed a voluntary thing. I don't know. I never got into it.
I get what you're saying. I don't think I ever played the game, so I'm not entirely maybe grasping the mechanic that you're...
Yeah. No, I'm trying to think of other games that have a cooking mechanic that I've played recently.
I mean, there's like Cook Up, where the entire game is cooking and plating foods. There's plenty of games out there where your entire thing is that you run a restaurant and you have to get the food out.
Like Diner Dash style?
Yeah, like Diner Dash style, but I was more meaning like like Breath of the Wild or something like that, where you have to actually go over a fire or you have to go somewhere and you make something, and that something...
Well, there's Stardew Valley, where you go into the kitchen and you you choose what ingredients and you cook it. And along the lines of Stardew Valley, there's a game I was playing called Traveler's Rest, where you run an inn, and so you gotta prepare food to sell to patrons that come into your tavern.
I've seen that game. I'm kind of interested because that seems like a little slice of life chill game that you could just like play while you're doing other stuff.
Yeah. I tend to get a little over the top in maximizing.
What? You know.
Right? People say like, "Oh, Stardew Valley is such a relaxing game." We're like, "Are you kidding me? There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much you can accomplish. They're trying to be efficient with every hour." They're like, "You're crazy." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
No. People talk about cozy games, and then Lunasar just sits there and says, "What?
What is this cozy you speak of?"
I don't understand. No, he's the type of guy that changes ammo in the middle of fights in Mass Effect.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you gotta.
And I don't know. I just you told me that, and I got stressed just hearing you say you did that.
Oh my gosh. Remind yourself never to play dot hack. Oh my goodness. Mid battle swapping weapons constantly. Yikes.
I tried. I couldn't. It just wasn't something. I don't know. Like maybe I just couldn't get my head around it, but it just wasn't something that I enjoyed. Like dot hack. I know this is a little bit of a tangent. Like I don't know why. It was just something which I just couldn't get into.
What is dot hack?
It was a video. It was a series of video games that was all about hacking the net. I want to say
No. It was one of the earliest games of you're in the real life and you're playing an MMO in the game. So
wait,
like,
is this the one that had a companion anime?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it had 2 companion animes, but yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is starting to ring bells. I think one of my friends in high school might have been playing this.
I mean, it spawned like a whole genre of animes, such as like Sword Art Online, but this is like the original,
the OG.
the OG.
Okay. So wait, this thing had you swapping things in the middle of battle by design?
Well, I remember, like when I was playing the game, that the difficulty ramp towards the end is such that like you want different skills that are on different weapons. So within a single battle, I'm like swapping weapons constantly to get access to a specific skill. Use the skill, swap to a different weapon, use the skill, like in mid battle, just so much menuing in what's supposed to be more of an action RPG. So yeah.
So it turned an action RPG and made it start to feel more turn-based.
Kind of, yeah, actually. But after I got to like through the third game, because it's made to be 4 games, but really it's just one long game that they split into 4 games. But I got a little fatigued, so I set it down, and then I tried to pick it back up, but because I couldn't remember exactly how the strategy works, so I would just get slaughtered when I got into battle. So I'm like, oh, dang.
It wasn't a very forgiving game if you didn't dedicate yourself beginning to end.
Yeah, it also didn't
I
help
think
that since they tried to kind of mimic realism, so your party members are other players that are playing in this MMO, and unfortunately my main magic user, I got an email from her saying, "Oh, I just had a baby, so I won't be playing anymore." I'm like, "Oh, crap.
Real life.
Crap!" So I lost a party member because they decided that the real life person is no longer playing the game.
This is the worst version of Eris dying I've ever heard. So
like, oh.
while you guys were talking, Baggins walked into my room again and he handed me his copy of Dot Hack Infection for the PlayStation 2. And as much as I want to talk about the game, I instead want to talk about I have never seen a game be more game stopped up than this thing. There are so many stickers in so many places on this cartridge. It is or this box. This is insane.
What, does Baggins not alcohol and Goo Gone to make it pristine and nice and get rid of the evil stickers?
The answer seems to be no.
For shame, Baggins, for shame.
Dude. That's work.
Excellent counterpoint.
Yeah.
All I know is that's like the first thing I do the first time I buy a game is I want to clean it, make it all nice and clean and shiny.
Each of us
in my life.
Each of us is OCD manifests in different ways.
Indeed, that's true.
How true that is.
How true that is.
No, seriously, like there are so many stickers on this thing. It is insane. Oh, sorry, I said it was GameStop. This is EB Games. So,
Yes,
God.
This was before the purchase or the merger or whatever you want to call it.
Electronic Boutique. That is old school.
I miss the Babbages here. My goodness.
It's post Electronics Boutique, but pre GameStop. It was EB Games.
Yeah, I remember. I remember before it was EB. I remember when it was Electronic Boutique.
I do too.
Like that was like EB was like the big rebrand that was going to bring people back into it.
Yep. And then they got bought.
Well, spoiler alert: it didn't work.
Dang it. I was wondering how that
Well-
story would turn.
It turned bad.
No.
So yeah,
So, I guess to get back on the food topic, earlier you mentioned about the awkward zombie eat your burgers, Apollo. One food I did want to bring up is actually from the game with Apollo in it.
Okay.
It wasn't sushi and burgers, but what it was is
Disappointing.
in the U.S. version, a character, the forensic detective, the forensic scientist who helps you out in the game. Her name's Emma, but she has a habit of eating snacks while on the job, and the snack she likes to eat, in the English they called it snackoos, which they kind of describe it as like some chocolate, some little chocolate covered dough thing. Though I looked it up in the original Japanese, it's actually what was it called? I don't know. It's basically like these little donut sticks. That's an actual like Japanese food that she eats. Those actually look pretty good. I mean, little
what like Pocky?
no. Well, like think like much thicker than Pocky, but it'd be like instead of making a circle donut, just make like a little like think of Little Caesars breadsticks.
Just like a donut log.
Yeah, like a
It's
little
like
donut
like a
log.
churro without the chur.
Yeah, not quite that long. More like, I mean, these are more like the size of like
Scotty?
like the Cheetos, like the puffy Cheetos. What are those called?
Puffy.
Cheetos Puffs.
Yeah.
Cheeto
Cheese
Puff.
puffs. Yeah, think of
Cheetos
it.
Puffs.
It's a donut the size of a cheese puff
Oh,
that she eats.
that's somehow less exciting.
So like a bagel bite?
Something like that, I guess.
Do you get pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper
What's it
time?
called? Carinto or Carinto. Yeah, I mean they look like little sausages, but they're basically donuts.
Hmm.
Um,
So
Think
kind of
about it, a little soft.
like French toast sticks.
Yeah, they're sweet, deep fried. Is primarily made of flour, yeast, and brown sugar. Has a deep brown and pitted appearance. It takes the form of bite-sized pillow or short cylinder. Although traditional carinto is coated with brown sugar, recently other variations appear in the market, such as white sugar, sesame seeds, miso, or peanuts.
The more you know.
Oh, I've had these. They have them at Chinese buffets. They just say Chinese donut.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
these
yeah,
are
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Japanese though, but
The traditional Chinese donut.
For some reason, that reminds me of the worst road trip story ever I had.
Okay.
So
Continue.
non-sequester, but it's about food. But it's about food. So we're weirdly on topic. So years and years and years ago, and when I say years ago, I mean probably about 20 years ago, I went to Project Acon with a bunch of friends in Texas, and on our last day there, me and some people we had met to the con, they were locals. They were like, "Hey, let's go over to this Chinese restaurant over here," and I forget the name of it, but we go to the Chinese restaurant, and they had ramen, which immediately we were like, I've never actually had authentic ramen. Okay, well, we got to get this. And my friend, God rest his soul, Jake, who is also our driver, which is important to the story here, says like they have kimchi ramen. I don't think I should do this. And then the other driver, John, was like, I love kimchi. I'm going to have the kimchi ramen. And Jake looks over at him and says, John, we are in a Chinese restaurant. You're about to order a Japanese dish using Korean ingredients. You may want to rethink this. We've got a 12-hour drive ahead of us.
oh gosh.
Spoiler alert. 2 hours into the drive, it's like, we need to pull over. Why? We need to pull over. It's going to get messy in here. I'm in the back. What's happening? It's like, The inevitable conclusion.
The plot
let's
twist
just
everyone
say-
saw coming.
Let's just say we had to stop and get a hotel on the way back in. That's how bad it was. But yeah, worst road trip ever.
Well,
Not really. It was a fun time up until
at least
until
a
drive
lesson
back.
a lesson was learned.
No, I'm pretty sure that he would have done it again.
Experience is the great teacher. Also, cigarette burns.
My worst road trip ever, I developed diabetes.
Ooh. Okay, well you win.
Type 1.
Ooh. Okay, you win.
So I'm not trying to win. That's just it just
I mean,
reminded me. And we
sorry.
talked about diabetes earlier, so I felt it may be pertinent.
I don't think the road trip was the cause.
You might be surprised.
We don't know that.
I think it may have contributed to it, actually.
Really? I didn't know. There was a
Long
thing.
story. We don't need to go into it here.
Sure.
No.
We've veered off into a weird spot. All right, Splice, get us back on.
Speaking
Okay,
of
so-
so it's also talking about diabetes.
Oh my God! What? Oh,
Let's talk
no.
about the sweet rolls in
Yes.
Elder Scrolls.
Okay.
And a sweet roll.
These things look so delicious. But they're also a running gag because I know there's some. I never played Skyrim somehow, and all I know is due to the mechanics of how you can steal things from people and then put it elsewhere and it stays permanently there in the game. I'm just gonna play a short little video here of a guard being like, "Let me guess, someone stole your sweet roll," and this person has stolen like all the sweet rolls in the game and filled a room with them.
Oh my gosh.
Banana.
That's right. It's the guard who says someone stole your sweet roll. That's right.
But he just filled this room with sweet rolls.
Which
Think how sticky
one
that
is
would
this?
be. Skyrim.
Which version? All of them?
I guess so. I don't know.
Okay.
But the fact that object permanence is a thing in the game, which is actually really impressive, especially because Bethesda made it.
It causes a lot of bugs. Surprise, surprise.
Imagine
it
that.
is
What?
Bethesda.
That's the bugs? No.
All I know
Really,
is it sent me to a quest. Please, kill the thieves that are in this cave, and I'm like, wait, I already killed everything in that cave. I go to the cave. Yeah, everything's still dead. Well, I guess this quest is never leaving my quest log. Hooray!
Oh, isn't that the worst though?
They're not going to reward you if the problem's already solved.
I mean, but it feels like you should be able to go there. All right, I solved the problem, and then just come back, or like, oh hey,
Well,
I already solved that problem for you.
Look, this is the game that had, well, not this game specifically, but like Oblivion, that has the omnipotent guards that know if you've nudged a spoon you don't own.
Well, I think the part of the reason why I've never actually been able to beat Skyrim is because Skyrim, I don't know if it was new in Skyrim or if the other ones had it too, but the Radiant Quest system, where it would generate quests to have you go to a random dungeon. And the fact that it's randomly generated quests, that's part of the reason why so many of them are bugged. But I try to empty out my quest list, but it generates quests faster than you can complete them, so...
So let me see if I understand the problem here. You're saying Bethesda may have dug too greedy and too deep. Is that what I'm hearing?
What? Bethesda? No.
Oh man, I recently saw a Viva La Dirt League video where a guy has to go to a place called Thebesda, and everybody's just like, "You don't want to go there. It's like the glitches are crazy." And like he goes, and it's a horror show of glitches. It's kind of amazing.
Wait, was this in a game or?
No, it was in the YouTube channel Viva La Dirt League.
I've seen them.
Okay.
They've done some D&D stuff too. That's pretty awesome.
They've done some great stuff.
Speaking of D&D, I will go off and I will say here that the food in Baldur's Gate, especially the closer you get to the city and when you're actually in the city, looks fantastic. I would love to eat some of the food they've got there. Maybe not the dwarf steak.
Is
Why?
that steak for
Because-
dwarves or
No, it is
okay.
dwarf steak. You find it. You find it in one of the first areas. There's dwarf sausages and dwarf steaks and some forearm and some hindquarters and stuff that the goblins are eating.
The goblins. Okay.
Yeah, like
I
like
see.
I don't think you can actually eat those, but I feel it's worth a mention that they do actually show that goblins have minced up a dwarf and have. I will say this much: at least they're all naturalists, and they are using every bit of the dwarf.
Yeah, they're humanitarians.
I'm not sure if it's humanitarian, but I mean, like at least they're using every part of what they kill.
You get it? Humanitarian?
No,
Because what do you call someone who only eats fish? A pescatarian.
pescatarian.
What do you call someone who eats only
pescatarian.
human? Humanitarian.
Humanitarian. Well,
These are the
speaking
jokes,
of-
people.
Speaking of humanitarians, any of you familiar with Breath of Fire 2 and the Wildcat restaurant?
No.
It's been so long since I played 2.
Well, I just posted a link in here. Let's see if I
Okay.
can bring it up.
I can. Do. Okay, Wildcat Restaurant. Do we need sound for this?
No, I mean
Okay,
it's
cool.
just 16-bit sound. But it's a restaurant that you have to go to in the game, but there's a bunch of bouncers that keep asking to, hey, give me your equipment, and as you get further, if you've unequipped everything, it's suddenly, oh, pour this salt on you, and pour this pepper on you, and
I like the direction this is going. This seems like a good idea.
and at the end of it is a giant oven, and then a chef comes out and attacks you. Because
How to cook for men.
you're
How to cook 40 men.
Oh yeah, you take off your armor and put on napkins instead. That's right. That's that's the way they said it. But the funny thing is if you say no, you have to fight the bouncers, so that way you could keep your equipment to fight the chef. But if you actually acquiesce to all the requests and fight the chef unequipped, he will teach you one of the most OP moves in the game. It's a game that will do a guaranteed 70 damage every time and costs no magic, which is incredibly useful because the main character is one that you want to keep his MP for super attacks to finish off bosses as high as possible. And there's a place in the game where things have super high defense and have a lot of XP, and being able to ignore defense because it does a guaranteed damage is very useful. But yes,
Getting to ignore defense tends to be very useful.
yeah, it's not always useful because it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but against the enemies that only have like 20 health and super high defense, where you usually only do 1 damage, it's amazing. But yeah, yep, humanitarian, dwarf steak, dwarf sausage, made me think of this scene, this ridiculous scene in Breath of Fire 2, but I love it.
Man, that is a high concept. We're gonna throw you at cannibals. Let us know how it goes.
Well, there's also a quest in this game where you're trying to help an overweight queen lose weight, so you're shrunk down and you go inside and fight
I'm
fat
sorry,
cells.
what? How have I not heard of this?
It's
It sounds
It's like that.
insane.
It's like inner. It's like inner
insane.
space. It's like the movie Inner Space.
Inner Space if it was a weight loss program.
And so the dungeon's like blood vessels, and you fight fat cells. I mean, I think if I remember, some of them are called like hemoglob, which would be more hemoglobin, which would be blood
yeah.
cells, not fat cells. But whatever, that's what they decided to name
They've already
them. But
shrunk you down and sent you into someone's body to give them liposuction. I think we've crossed the threshold of believability anyway.
We're
Yeah.
basically doing the Magic School Bus thing, so.
So
Yeah, was this
Breath of
woman
Fire
named
2
Mrs. Frizzle? Like, what's going on here?
it was totally Magic School Bus level, and Breath of Fire 2 has some silly moments, and you know what? I love it all the more for it.
Mm-hmm.
That is nuts. I love it.
So, in a different angle, have any of y'all played Terra Nigma? I know I've talked to Looney about it a bit.
I have not.
I have not.
I have
So-
not played it.
The concept behind Terra Nigma is you're basically kind of restoring the world. Like the world didn't exist, and so like you go and you restore plants to the world, you restore animals to the world, and then as you're going through, like in the second chapter, you're going through and helping the world to develop and stuff. Or the second and third chapter.
Okay, this is a pretty high concept game I'm hearing.
But at one point, and it plays like a standard RPG, but at one point, like you'll actually meet characters who are clearly based on people who actually existed, or general ideas that existed. And one guy that you talk to, his name is Mick, and he wants to create a meal using beef. And he asks, should I slice it or should I grind it up? And you tell him to grind it up. He's like, all right, how should I prepare it? And you tell him to like wrap it in lettuce and put it in a bun. And he's like, I came up with this super popular thing. I call it a Big Mick. And it's just like this super cheesy, but it's just a fun little side quest. Like, I mean, and you meet all these different characters. I think there's another guy, his name is Graham, and he invents the telephone. It's a great game. But I always remember the inventing the hamburger quest.
What an odd quest.
It's great.
Don't you steal the hamburger at one point in Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego?
Robble?
I
There should
have
I
been
never
Hamburglar
played
game.
it. I never
There is a
played it.
hamburger game, I think.
Is there?
It was similar to the Sneak King, if I remember right.
So you're
Now I'm
saying
gonna have to
Burger
look
King
this up.
copied McDonald's again?
I don't remember who did what first, but I don't remember specifics. So maybe I'm making this up, but I feel like I remember there being a Hamburglar game.
Man, now
I mean, I feel like that we need to have like some deep lore on the Hamburglar.
I mean,
Like he's a deposed king of Burgerland, and
Well, like apparently, if you believe some of the commercials from about 5 years ago, he's been hiding among us. He has a wife and he has a kid, and like he only recently got back into hamburgling.
I didn't know any of this.
Like there was like a weird commercial series where you see like this normal guy and he like goes into a closet and you like see like the Hamburglar like hat and mask and like stripes in there, and like it shows him like silhouetted like putting it on. His kid walks in, he's like, this explains so much. And it's like, what do you mean this explains so much? What do you mean? What? And then there was no follow-up on the commercial.
Okay. Not the direction I thought this conversation would go.
So there is no dedicated Hamburglar game.
but I'm seeing
But-
6 games that did feature the Hamburglar.
Well, I'm seeing, 6 games that featured him. Mission to McDonaldland on PC. Adventures through McDonaldland, also on PC. Ronald McDonald and Magic World on Game Gear, I'm guessing. McDonald's Treasure Land Adventure on Genesis. MC Kids on Amoeba, Game Boy, and 4 more. And Donald Land. Not McDonald's Land, Donald Land. On
Freaking
NES.
dumb.
Yes, it looks like that's probably a Famicom.
Yeah. So, fun times.
Indeed. Again, not the direction I didn't think Hamburger was going to come up. I mean, I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect Hamburglar.
Did you know somebody, and it got shut down for multiple copyright violations, but somebody at some point was working on a fast food mascot fighting game?
Yes, I have. I've seen the fruits of their labor.
Like there was a picture, and then somebody saw that picture and decided to go full bore, and like got a little bit of the ways into it, and then was just shut all the way down. But it looked pretty cool.
I'm just picturing Wendy hucking square-shaped meat shurikens.
I mean, like the corners are for extra flavor.
Oh, I thought it was because Wendy's doesn't cut corners.
That too, probably.
I think that was
That
actually their original.
That actually sounds like straight out of their marketing.
I think it actually was.
Where's the beef?
Where is the beef?
It's in my fridge. Like, I
Okay,
got
granted, that reference is even older than us, so.
Oh, I know where's the beef.
Everyone knows where's the beef. Come on.
For some reason, now you've just reminded me about Dead Rising, where like one of the main bosses is the meat counter guy, who's gone insane because the zombie apocalypse is happening outside of a store in the mall, and you have to fight him in the meat section and defeat him. You can also get some of the best food in the game, which is another one of these games where you have to go and gather food to survive. You will starve.
Does Super Meat Boy count?
I mean, he is meat, so he is technically food.
Or I never played Psychonauts, but the Meat Circus, wasn't that a thing?
Yes, it's
That
complicated.
is a thing.
It's very.
I remember it was supposedly like a insanely difficult.
So that was because the original port to the PC had a glitch in it that caused your ladder climbing speed to be much slower than it should have been. They later patched it out, but one of my claims to fame is that I beat the unpatched Meat Circus.
So did I.
And I'm never gonna not brag about that.
Same here. Totally agree.
It was a difficult thing to do.
I mean, granted, I think I climbed by... Couldn't you jump from climbing? And so I'd jump and double jump and get back to climbing. And
I
so scaled that way.
Yeah, you had to sort of cheese it. Because, again, it was glitched. The important thing is that I did it.
Yep.
That's the important thing. Yeah, the Meat Circus is... two minds are merged, and so it has the issues of two different people merging, and it's a trip.
It is very much a trip, and if I'm honest, not appetizing.
Yeah, it's a little surprising, but the concept of a circus made out of meat does not put you in the mood to eat anything.
That's the horrifying version of the meat dimension. It's not the Persona 4 meat dimension.
That's meat hell.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't want to go to meat hell. I'm a good boy.
Meat hell?
Yeah, but it's not the good kind.
Yeah, if you say so. I mean,
it's spoiled meat.
Yeah.
And it attacks you. And it has circus music.
There's nothing wrong with circus music.
When circus music comes back in Psychonauts 2, it's scarring. I suddenly have flashbacks to the Meat Circus. I'm like, no, not again.
I still need to play Psychonauts 2.
You'll enjoy it. It's good.
It was on sale during the Steam summer sale, so I actually got it.
Ooh, nice. Excellent. Yeah, no, me and Maddie will stand for Psychonauts.
No. Will you stand on Psychonauts?
No.
Why?
It sounds rude.
Yeah, but it might make you taller.
Not enough to justify the abuse.
Maybe, I think.
Trust me on this one. Anyway, no. All right, there was one more thing I want to bring up with food. And now I can't find
video games on crackers?
No, but go on.
No, that's the whole pitch. You just put a video game on a cracker, you play the little game like Pong or whatever, and then you eat the cracker. That way it's distraction and food. Sustenance. You can have that idea.
Thank
Actually,
you.
I remember there was a Pizza Tycoon game where
I'm
you had
sorry,
to.
what?
Yeah, there was a lot of, PC Tycoon games back in the day, and I remember my friend had a Pizza Tycoon game. And
I have never heard of this somehow.
so you ran like a pizza parlor, and so you had to make pizzas and you were scored on the pizzas. And I kind of got mad at the game because it's like, oh, make a pizza with these ingredients. And I'm like, okay. Oh, then I could actually make a pretty decent, delicious pizza. So I, put on all the toppings. I try to spread things out evenly the way I would want a pizza. And I got like no points because they're like, oh, lack of artistic vision. I'm like, what the heck? What? This pizza looks delicious. And then my friend's like, here, let me show you. And he makes a smiley face on his pizza with the ingredients. And I'm like, dude, the ingredients aren't even like spread in a reasonable way. What a waste of ingredients, and depending on what slice you have, gosh, that's an awful pizza. And he got like scored like 90 out of 100 points, and I'm like, gosh dang it, this game sucks.
And this is where we learn Lunarsar was always going to be an engineer. He's over here making efficiency arguments with pizza in a video game.
Hey, actually, Splice Pizza Tycoon is available on the Switch, and right now is on sale for 86% off until August 2nd. You can get it for a grand total of $2.09.
Okay, are you getting like a commission or something from them? What was that tone?
I'm just letting you know, like you can play Pizza Tycoon.
He's definitely
getting
getting a commission, isn't he? Doesn't this sound like he's getting a commission?
What kind of commission am I going to get on 209?
I don't know,
Wait.
but it just sounds like it.
Also, somebody put the Hitman Muffin combat in the Splice stream general chat.
Yes.
Wait, it's on the Switch? I didn't know.
Well, no,
they
it
made a
originally
Switch port.
it originally came out in 1994. It was ported over to the Switch, and you can get it now for $209. It normally retails for $14.99.
Well, I didn't see the remake on the Wikipedia, but whatever.
I just looked up Pizza Tycoon when you mentioned it because I was like, "There's no way." Oh, yes, there is a way. And then the first entry was on Nintendo Switch. I was like, "Oh,
okay, yeah, there is a. Is this the same game or is it a different game? I don't know.
Could be either. Could be both."
Could be neither. Was this considered at all?
I mean, maybe, but probably not. Did you have another topic to bring up here to button this one up, or
I'm now
are we
very
just
distracted by the pizza thing.
See, I'm very distracted. I'm about to look and see what this muffin combat's all about.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. So I was gonna bring up. So we've had like where you use food to gain stats and stuff like that and gain health. What about where the food is the weapon? There is a lot of flinging fruit around in Donkey Kong Country 64.
Yes, there is.
Do you count fish as a weapon?
It depends how it's used.
Then Genshin Impact, there are various fish weapons. One is a bow, one is a swordfish, and I think
swordfish.
got, like a spear that's supposed to be. I mean, like, but they've got fishes that you can use. Like, you have to go fishing to get them, and then you have the fish weapon. So,
are they so
that
delicious?
I don't know. They're just fish that you use
I
to
love
hit people
goldfishes.
with.
Baggins gets it.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to step away for a bit.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if I'll be back or not, but just
Do you want to promote anything
FYI.
before you head off?
Just the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies. It's kind of amazing. It's if you like Brandon Sanderson, we are going into heavy spoiler territory moving forward, but we got a great backlog
very
of stuff.
heavy spoiler territory.
So yeah, check that out. It's the Sandersonian Institute of Cosmere Studies. You can find it pretty much anywhere if you search for Cosmere Studies. Great stuff.
All right.
Hope you feel
So-
better, Baggins.
All right, I'll see y'all.
Okay. So what was the muffin thing?
So somebody had mentioned the muffin thing in here,
Yeah,
and I
Kevin.
just happened to go look in Kevin, and I just happened to go look in the stream, and yeah, somebody put the entire thing. Now, granted, this is an 11-minute video, of somebody speedrunning Hitman using nothing but muffins.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
I'm
someone
not sure if I'm going to watch the entire
mentioned
11 minutes, but yeah, but like it is
Well,
there. So apparently you can.
did you give me
beat
the link?
Hitman with muffins. It's in the Splice stream chat.
Splice stream
Like in the general chat.
Which one?
Here, I'll
There's
send it
3
to
of
you.
them.
Like the one for Splice stream itself, general chat,
Oh, okay.
Discord.
There we go. Pulling it up. And play. I'm just going to jump to the middle. Let's see. Show me the muffin combat. Agent.
Show me the muffin.
Let's see. That person
Do
had
you
a
know the
stuffed
Muffin
bug-
Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
All right. The joke's already played out. Okay. So, I want to see this muffin combat. He's not throwing muffins at anybody. I see him holding it.
I think you,
so
I
far,
think you keep going. I think you keep going past the part where he's actually.
there we
using it. I
go.
think there's-
Wow. Yeah. He just. Okay. I don't feel like he really used the muffin as much as he just was holding a muffin in his fist and then he punched the guy.
I mean,
He
I
used
guess
the muffin like a, I mean, basically
brass
like a
knuckle.
punching glove.
Yeah.
It's a brass knuckle, but a blueberry muffin.
No, it's a brand knuckle.
It's a brand knuckle. Well done. Well done.
But like weapons,
And here I was
I'm
hoping that
making-
like he'd sneak up behind him, shove the muffin in his mouth, and choke him with it. That's what I was hoping.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. There, this was going. Now, am I wrong in thinking there was a game where like one of the swords that you could equip was a hero sandwich?
I don't know this, but it wouldn't shock me.
Like we're talking about, you know, foods that are weapon or foods that were weapons in games. I know there's been some. I know I've seen them. Like I'm thinking of sausages that were tied together like nunchucks somewhere that I've seen. But I couldn't tell
That was
you.
that was
what game or
definitely in a
where.
cartoon.
Mm,
That part is definitely true. Like I definitely seen that at least in a cartoon.
Yeah, for some reason I feel like, was it like a Looney Tunes or Tiny Toons even?
I don't know.
possibly.
I know 100% he's correct that it has happened. I just don't know where or what.
And I'm pretty sure there's something I remember about using stale bread as a club. It's in something as well.
Also, you know, the banana peel in Mario Kart, that's technically a food that's a weapon.
Yeah, actually, I wasn't really thinking about that, but yeah.
I mean, it's the part you don't eat, but yeah.
Apparently Kazooie's eggs from Banjo-Kazooie.
I guess those
the-
technically could count.
Diddy Kong's
Green-
peanut gun.
Yeah, you go to Donkey Kong Country 64, they're all using fruits as weapons.
See, now I'm just trying to find some because I know there are
Yeah,
some
I was
there.
thinking more Smash, but yeah.
Apparently in Yakuza Like a Dragon, you can fight somebody who uses a giant pepper mill as a weapon.
That definitely sounds like Yakuza.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm not saying much there. I know that's...
I mean, here's one that you can probably check by Dark
Is it
Search
talking
Can.
like the small pepper grinder or a much bigger one?
Oh, a much bigger, like one of those like huge pepper grinders that looks like, you know, might be a bat.
Okay.
Apparently in Monster Hunter World, there's a frozen spear tuna that you can wield.
See, every day you say things like this, and I know you're correct, but it still makes me feel like you have to be lying to me.
And apparently there's a Nuka-Cola weapon in the Fallout series.
What? Must be one of the newer ones. I don't remember that.
No, hold on. I'm looking I'm just trying to find like examples here. Before the Great War, the Fallout universe, the most popular beverage, blah, 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 blah. You know there's recipes on making Nuka-Cola out there on the internet now.
Of course.
All of them are very interesting.
Min Min's ramen noodle arms. Okay.
Yeah. The most obvious example of this is the Nuka grenade, an improvised explosive device loaded with Nuka-Cola. There's also the Thirst Zapper, a water pistol turned firearm thanks to the caustic and explosive spurts of Nuka-Cola it launches.
Huh.
And apparently Nuka-Cola Quantum actually has radioactive isotopes in it. So,
also, I just realized, Splice, we left out TF2 in this list.
Oh, yeah.
The holy mackerel and the mad milk.
See, and I was just thinking of sandwich.
Well, sandwich is there too.
It got its own short.
But like the holy mackerel, you actually beat people with a fish.
It's not untrue.
So I mean,
I found a picture of the pepper grinder. That thing's huge.
Yeah. I think we might have been looking at the same list there. But that bears an interesting question. If you had to use any food as a weapon in an RPG starring you,
and you left out Mad Mackerel from this list.
Let's see. Food as a weapon. You know, so we're not going to include the tools used for preparing it, obviously.
No.
Yes,
food.
You know, I think stale, a good solid, stale French loaf could be useful. That's definitely at least going to stop things. Actually, you know what? A solid block of cheese would actually be a really good shield.
Well,
get a cheese wheel.
Oh yeah, like the Skyrim cheese wheels. Those things are huge and they look amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to go with cheese wheel. That's my choice. Cheese wheel.
Looney?
Wait, what was the question again?
You're in an RPG that is about your life. You have to equip a food as a weapon. What would you use?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe a nice like a leg of something, whether it be like a ham leg or
right.
Or maybe like a nice big cow thigh stick. Get a nice. Get a nice.
You're wanting to get like a Flintstones rib.
Side of ribs, yeah, like something.
Yeah,
like
that. Something that you can eat the meat and then use the bone afterwards as a nice hard wacky stick.
Yeah, makes sense.
The very technical term of wacky stick.
Yeah, I got that from Shadiversity. I'll be honest.
True. No.
So, I'm probably somewhere in the same. I actually have two answers. So the first one is like Lunasar said, you some kind of beef hindquarter or pork hindquarter, something that is not all the way butchered down, but something that's wieldable to get a good swing on, is my realistic answer. And my not so realistic answer is a Nestle Crunch Bar. The reason why is if you follow, especially back in the 80s and 90s not cartoons, but their commercials back then, when you bit into a Nestle Crunch, it was just like dropping a POW box blocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You just sit there, it's like, crunch, and then just everything shakes and you get away.
True. So from chat, Baggins says a hard summer sausage, and Kevin suggests a puffer fish.
Puffer fish. Interesting.
Because they're mostly deadly. So yeah.
Then Baggins also suggests a pork shoulder as an axe head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They
are no joke.
It's called a shoulder blade for
a reason. Yep.
It's pretty good. All right. We've definitely solved the problem of how to use food as a weapon.
I'm surprised that we have managed to stretch this as long as we can.
There's a lot of food in games. Like it's interesting that it gets used in so many different ways.
Well, and I
Defense
just
for
realized
shield. I like that.
I even have left out what Lizzie would have brought up if she came in, because in Pokemon Sword and Shield and in Scarlet Violet you make curry and sandwiches to heal up your Pokemon and get
Really?
some bonuses.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the camping mechanic. I never used it at all. I think the sandwich mechanic gets used a lot because that can actually affect what Pokemon spawn, so she uses it for shiny hunting a lot.
So the only thing I've ever used curry for is recovering health in Persona and burning people in Smash Brothers.
Oh, you know what? Smash Brothers Fire Curry. That'd be a good weapon.
Yeah, it literally gives you a superpower temporarily. Breathe fire.
Sounds kind of painful, though.
I mean, you've seen the animations for it. It doesn't exactly look nice.
And it is from eating curry. So, yeah. Granted, I like a good curry, but I my curries are not that spicy.
Very true. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Lunasar, do you want to promote anything?
Humble Bundles actually got quite a stuff going on right now. There was a bunch of like video game development books and lessons available. There's the entire Ender's Game series is in a bundle right now to get that as an ebook, which is a great series. So
I didn't realize Humble Bundle includes non-game stuff.
Yeah, they got software, they got books. So right now they got like programming books as well, and game development.
They also
stuff.
let go most of their staff this week too.
Game development assets, but they also have, like I said, Ender's Game series. If you want to get those as ebooks, they have a bundle for the whole series right now.
All right, Kamizite, do you want to promote anything?
I would like to promote Lunasar's wife, Lucy Petrichor, and her stream. I know I've had a few bad days at work lately, and watching Lizzie's stream gives me those chill Lizzie vibes that always makes the day a little bit better. So I watch it. You should watch it too. We should make Splice watch it. In fact, that might be the next video. We should tape him down and make him watch the stream.
I've watched her stream. In fact, I'm going to promote her stream too. 2 people should at least promote her stream.
Exactly. Everyone should go get those chill Lizzie vibes. And if you act now, you get 30% more chill Lizzie vibes in your next order.
All right. But more seriously, been streaming over on Twitch and Kick. We have our new game show, The Quizzard, that is going to be on Saturday. Ton of fun. Going to do some Amiibo Raid Boss Tower Thursday, and mostly just show up for The Quizzard. I think you'll like it, especially you, Combine. You need to show up. And you too, Kevin. It's needed. Well, guys, I have to say, I think we overleveled.